Welcome back. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and it's so important this time of year, especially with inflation going on and just the need being so great for a lot of people to be able to give if you can. So with me today, I do have a local financial professional. His name is Alex Aston. He's from Burns Estate Planning. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, thanks for having me. So Giving Tuesday is basically like the unofficial kickoff to the giving season. And what it is, it's just, if you can, right, towards this time of year, so, it's important to give, right? It's the season of giving. It's not really about receiving. So if you can do any sort of charitable donations, this is really kicking it off to do so.
And of course, during this time of year, there's also those scam artists that like to come out of the woodworks and try to take away from, the folks that are trying to do the best they can to help others. What are some good questions that we need to ask when we are giving to a charity?
Well, first and foremost, what charity is nearest and dearest to your heart? Which one is it? An animal shelter? What is it? Because you want to figure out, okay, what do I want to donate my hard-earned dollars towards? And then you need to do your research, right? Be very thorough with that research because, like you said, there's going to be people out there who can ruin anything that's great. And, of course, there's going to be scammers out there trying to take your dollars. So when you do that, you need to there's actually, you go on the IRS website, and there's a tab on there that you can search for qualified charitable distributions. So you can look for different companies on there and make sure they're on that list versus, potentially being set up by someone who's really just trying to scam you and for really what you're trying to contribute to a good cause. And remember, there's a couple different ways you can donate, right? What I've done my whole life, right, growing up is close to Goodwill, right? Just donating physical items like that, but you need to make sure you keep receipts. Even if it's a cash donation, you need to make sure you keep the receipts because one of the best parts about, charitable giving, beyond the fact that it makes you feel great in doing something for somebody else, but you also get some sort of tax benefits by the end of the year. So make sure you keep those receipts so you can file those accordingly with the IRS.
Great points. And so you do have those advantages there. What are some other things that we need to know about as far as other incentives when it comes to those tax advantages?
Well, a lot of this is going to vary on your specific situation. So it's hard to answer specifics, but when you look as far as for us, right, we have several clients who are past the age of 70 years old and don't really need any mandatory distributions from their IRAs or 401ks, right? They're fortunate enough to have pensions that they work very hard for and Social Security, and expenses are low. So they don't have to take distributions. So they simply do it because they have to, per IRS standards. So what you can actually do is something called a qualified charitable distribution. And basically what that is, instead of taking those dollars out of those accounts and being taxed at your income levels, you can then take those distributions and donate them to a charity, right? And therefore, you don't pay taxes on those. You satisfy those distributions that you have to, but you don't realize the income taxes that you have. So that's a great tax benefit there. And not getting into too specific about tax benefits, but another one that we look at is what's called a donor advised fund, right? This is basically like a charitable checkbook. And this allows you to make deductions from this account, which you then can invest those and they grow tax-free for that charity that you've invested them into. So there's a couple different ways to do this, but I certainly recommend, like you started with, working with tax professionals and financial professionals because every situation is going to be different revolving your tax scenario and the benefits that you'll get regarding whatever you set up. But there's several different ways and it's so complex, but so it's absolutely worth, just making sure that you're doing it correctly.
Great point, because a lot of us, like myself, are not experts on money at all. And like you said, it's a great way to double dip almost, where you get the satisfaction of helping out an organization in need, but also help with that tax contribution there. Anything else, Alex, you think people should know?
I would also just say that, again, just make sure that when you do this, that it's well documented, because you want to make sure if the IRS ever comes knocking for these donations that you have the receipts, or if you work with a CPA or you already have a tax professional you work with, you can give those to them for them to file for you. So that way you have that backup, right? It's so important. You want to do something good, but you don't want, a couple years down the road have some sort of missing gap of where these dollars went because you didn't save a receipt. So just make sure that you always save it you document everything very well, and you pick those charities that you love and you want to donate to and help out, and all else will take care of itself.
Perfect, because none of us want Uncle Sam knocking at our door, that's for sure.
No.